Hello. Good
Hey,
evening, everyone. How are you?
I didn't float away in the storm yesterday.
That's good news. That's good
It is
news.
good.
I was a little worried. Hurricanes kind of freak me out.
Me too. I didn't realize the level of like that my reaction to hurricanes was like on the PTSD level until I had a little bit of a leak in my house a couple of years ago, and there was like some water on the ground, and like I had like flashbacks to Hurricane Sandy and like poo flying out of my toilet because the water was coming up so quickly.
No, no, no. I am flooding. Flooding is a traumatic event, no matter how little it may be. Yeah, I would never want to. I can't deal with that. I'm from the middle of the country. We don't do water here. At least not where I live. I don't get flooding is not typically a thing.
Fair enough. Well, anyway, welcome to Dragonmount. I'm Thom, and that's Crystal.
Hey, you did it right. Good job.
Yeah, I you know why? Because like when I went like that, I cheated. I pointed at myself like I'm Thom, and then I'm like, which way is my thumb going? Okay, it's the other way. I'm so smart. I know my left from my right. I don't actually. I have to check all the time.
Do you make the? Do you do the L? That's what I do.
No, I just make the wrong decision first, and then Erin yells at me and corrects me and says it's the other way, and then I know which way it is.
Good job, Erin.
Nine times out of 10, it happens when we're driving. Because Lizdexia is fun. Oh man! Ooh, yay! Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
Yeah, no, it is bad. The storm PTSD is not fun. I didn't, like I said, didn't realize I had it, and I've been through a bunch of hurricanes. Hurricane Sandy in New York, though, was just on another freaking level, man. It was like a month and a half with no power, and it was freezing, and there was looting and rioting, and freaking the Homeland Security was driving around in Humvees with like mounted machine guns on it. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane.
Wow. I had no idea it was that bad. I can't imagine being without power for a month. I did 5 days last summer, and that was as little house on the prairie as I wanted to be.
Now I will never not have a generator, just so that we can at least have a refrigerator with food in it.
Yep.
Does my pin today have a tail? Does my pin have a tail? No, I'm wearing my normal pins. My Black Lives Matter pin and my You're Safe With Me pin. Oh, it's because of my shirt. I'm wearing my Asgard Tor's shirt. It's a shirt from Thor Ragnarok. Some of the people in the background actors in Thor Ragnarok are wearing it.
Hey,
Momo's
yeah, I'm with
Rapunzel. Rapunzel. Momo's taking a break. He was mounted on my chair for a while. He's currently snuggled with one of my stitches elsewhere. So I got my little turtle friend to hang out with us.
I'll miss Momo.
Yeah, me too. So I don't know if anyone who's here today saw our posts over the last couple of weeks. I wrote an article for Dragonmount. Maybe someone can share that article in chat because I didn't prepare that link because I'm terrible. But this really interesting thing kind of came across recently while I was at WatCon. And actually, I had heard about it before when I was hanging out with the Black Tower guys in one of their like after show things that they do in their Discord, that there's this guy. His name is Jordan, and he's making a thing called a soundscape, or like, just ambient sounds and music to go along with the Wheel of Time. And I heard a little snippet at WatCon when Josh from Black Tower played it for Michael Kramer and Kate Redding. What up, Arosa? And I was like, that guy's awesome. And then I forgot about it, like I do. And he actually messaged me. And I was like, yeah, we got to help you out to get this Kickstarter off the ground, because he actually has a Kickstarter for the Watt Soundscapes. So we want to make sure it funds. And if you've seen our social media, we've been kind of stealthily sharing it, but we're going to do the official announcement tonight, similar to what we did for, author Milton Davis when he had his Kickstarter going, and Koala Sadai when she was doing the Cards Against Time. Anyone who backs or ups their bid for his Kickstarter between now and when it ends on August 11th has a chance to win some fabulous prizes. But before we talk about those fabulous prizes, let's see if we can rustle up a Jordan.
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
It's a Jordan.
Hello.
Just like that.
You like my little silly intro there?
Thought it was awesome.
Oh, yay! That's awesome, Matt. So anyone who for someone like Matt Stagger here, if you've already backed the Kickstarter, if you re-up your bid for even like $1, you'll also be entered in for a chance to win some of the prizes that we're going to be giving away, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But first, Jordan, I want to make sure everyone knows who you are. I'm going to put links for the Kickstarter in and your socials and stuff. But so where did this come from? How did this start?
Yeah, it all started in the Tolkien fandom. I did this Kickstarter for the Lord of the Rings a couple of years back. I'm pretty in deep with the Tolkien community. I edit for the Prancing Pony podcast, if anyone knows them. They've won some Tolkien Society awards and stuff like that. I also did an audiobook for John Howe, if anyone knows the concept designer for the Lord of the Rings movies. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
So from then, I've been working on. I did the whole trilogy for Lord of the Rings. I did a follow-up Kickstarter for The Hobbit and the Silmarillion, and did the first Harry Potter and some other stuff. But then this is the kind of next point in the journey to begin the long journey of the Wheel of Time. So
yeah, 14 books is going to be a long journey.
Very
and
long
actually, we were just talking, and to preempt the question that I'm sure some people are going to have, it's going to be kind of more than 14 books, because you said you're going to be like retiming it for the Rosamund Pike ones as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I got to retime it. The whole thing will be initially timed to Michael and Kate, but for my own enjoyment as well as everyone else's, I want to have both options, just because they're totally different feels. So yeah, it'll have a little bit of a retiming stage, and then you'll be able to include it in all of it. Like if you don't have to buy anything extra or anything like that.
If it funds.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get access to both versions, which will be really cool.
That's fantastic. And it really, I mean, you're 100% correct. Like the feeling that you get, because I've only listened to Eye of the World from Rosamund Pike, but it's a completely different feel. I mean, it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. She's an amazing voice actor. Obviously, like, she's an amazing actor. And her delivery is just very different, and it just evokes a lot of different feelings, like while listening to the books that just differ from Michael and Kate's interpretations of things. Mm-hmm. Not that it is better or worse in any way; it's just different. And having had the same thing for 20 years or 20 whatever years at this point, it's interesting to have a little bit of different now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, now you'll have 4 versions if you think about it.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
I wish we could have shelves for our audiobooks and like digital books, like a little thing. That got to be a product.
Eventually, when I have all 15 finished, I hope to do something like I did for the Lord of the Rings. Which for the Lord of the Rings, I have this really awesome little wooden USB box that has the name engraved on it and stuff like that.
Cool.
So Wheel of Time would have to be more than one, probably. But that would be a really cool physical, housing for it.
Fair enough. Well, for those who have no idea like what a soundscape is or what they could possibly be expecting from something like this, we do have a little tidbit for you that I'm going to play for you. So not that I think this is possible at this point, but this is a spoiler for Chapter 1, Book 1 of the Wheel of Time. It's like a minute into the first chapter of the first book. So if you don't want to hear that,
one thing too.
Oh, sure.
Before we jump in, because I'm using something called binaural audio, to hear the proper 3D movement that you're going to hear, you need to have headphones on. It doesn't matter how good your speakers are. if you don't have headphones in, it can't simulate the 3D. So grab a pair of headphones and check out the
You don't have to
full
tell me
3D
twice.
effect.
Yep. I'm putting both in.
I want to listen. Right. All right. So I'm gonna play the first little clip here, and we'll see how that goes.
The wheel of time turns, and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the Third Age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the turning of the wheel of time. But it was a beginning. Born below the ever-cloud-capped peaks that gave the mountains their name, the wind blew east out across the sand hills, once the shore of a great ocean before the breaking of the world. Down it flailed into the two rivers, into the tangled forest called the Westwood, and beat at two men walking with a cart and horse down the rock-strewn track called the Quarry Road. For all that spring should have come a good month since, the wind carried an icy chill as if it would rather bear snow. Gusts plastered Randall Thor's cloak to his back, whipped the earth-colored wool around his legs, then streamed it out behind him. He wished his coat were heavier, or that he had worn an extra shirt. Half the time when he tried to tug the cloak back around him, it caught on the quiver swinging at his hip. Trying to hold the cloak one-handed did not do much good anyway. He had his bow in the other, an arrow nocked and ready to draw.
That was freaking awesome.
Wow.
Set the stage for many hours to come after that.
Oh my God. How many hours? Do you know how many hours it is? Like, I don't even know off the top of my head.
For all of them put together?
Yeah.
It's like 450.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work.
Yep.
So what do you have to do? Basically, like double that for the amount of work that goes into it?
Oh, I think it's more than that.
I wouldn't. Not. I believe that.
One of the small, benefits of the Wheel of Time is that I design individual ambiences for each area that we go to. I design sound effects for everything. There's music that is individual to each scene. But one of the benefits is, if I design an ambience for a certain area, sometimes those can be reused, like I usually make them in hour-long segments. Most of the chapters are not an hour long. So I can take like the first half here and the second half here if we're in like the same inn or something like that, for example. So it's still going to be a ton of work, obviously, but there might be a little tiny bit of crossover. Whereas in the Lord of the Rings, it's kind of like we're moving to new spots the entire time. So
yeah, that's fair. We do revisit a lot of the same locations, though. What I'm
change.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Like thinking about like how they're going to evolve and change throughout the series, because a lot of the locations really do.
And then if you're really interested in this kind of thing, you could, because part of the soundscape, part of what you get is different mixes. So if you want, you can have just the music, you could have just the ambience, etc., etc. Those are all part of it.
Wow.
That's
so
really
if
cool.
if you get really kind of creative with it, you could take all of the ambiences for a certain area and like from book to book to book to book, and like put them back to back and hear how it evolves over time.
That's cool.
I've been thinking just for myself how cool it would be to take only the parent POVs and put them back to back and see what that feels like with the soundscape, and you'd hear his music evolve over time and all this kind of stuff. So
as he changes as a character.
Exactly. There's
Mhm.
lots
Oh,
of
man.
ways to experience it for sure.
Now I'm picturing the chaoticness of like, mid-series Rand.
Oh my god. Emo
When he-
emo Rand.
when he has so many voices in his head, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And speaking of things in people's heads, that's something that I'm really excited about because it's something that I can kind of handle. Yay, thank you.
Yay!
That's something that I can handle differently than the show could ever do, because I get to have sounds in your head kind of thing as you're listening in your headphones
Yeah.
too. So
True.
exciting.
Well, speaking of the different options and different things you have going on, let's look at them because we can go and look at your Kickstarter. So let's do that right now. Blam! Boom. There we go. So this is the Kickstarter as it currently stands.
Mhm.
We're currently about like 70% funded, 70-something percent funded here. So by the way, again, and I'll show you guys one of the prizes now, which I think some of you may be able to guess. If you back this project between now and when it ends on August 11th, or up your bid if you've already backed, you will be winning, possibly entered to win, some different prizes, one of which is the Wheel of Time, A Memory of Light backpack, because, like I've said 1,000 times, I have about 40 of these 50 of these in my closet, and I want to give them to you guys because they're pretty awesome. And then we get to match when we're at conventions, because my convention backpack is also one of these, but it's covered in patches. So if you've seen mine, it's got patches and stuff all over it. And again, I've been reminded by the powers that be, the prizes are only won if the Kickstarter is fully funded. So make sure we have to make sure it gets funded. All right, so let's go through. Let's see, what do we have here? We have first of all, your like product value here on your Kickstarter is pretty great.
Thanks.
All the images are great.
Thank you. Yeah.
What is a soundscape exactly? I think we went through that, but the 3D spatial audio is really it was very, because I actually hadn't listened to it with headphones yet, and you could definitely hear the right left sounding and movement between the headphones while you were listening.
If you listen to the Kickstarter video, at the end of it, it has the full prologue for Eye of the World, with
Ooh.
Michael kind of coming in and out a little bit. But if you listen to that and listen to the moment near the end of that segment, you'll hear, the mountain kind of swirling around you and stuff like that. So it's there's some
Which
pretty
mountain would that
intense
be?
stuff. Oh, I think you might know.
Is it Dragonmount?
Something like that. I don't know. Something.
We have this awesome picture of us that Amazon Prime put out. That's a good picture of us, I think.
Mm-hmm. Got to get some credit on there.
Oh yeah, they should have. I think they said something about it. I don't remember. The whoever was doing the tweeter of chaos was pretty funny. So I was looking through your pledge levels, and you have some fun goals on here. So research team, what does that involve?
Those are the people that get to help me with all the details. Which ambiences are there, which ambiences would have which animals in them, things like that. How many characters am I going to write themes for? I have people that are that for Eye of the World were helping me, because I should say really quickly, excuse me, Eye of the World is almost done. So when the Kickstarter is finished, it'll probably take me, I would say, maximum a month and a half, maybe two, to finish Eye of the World. So you'll actually get that pretty fast. And then I'll be moving on to books 2, 3, and 4. But anyways, yeah, so I have some people for Eye of the World that are helping me, list what certain characters are wearing in each chapter, so that when I do their footstep movements, it matches what they're wearing. So that's kind of the ridiculous detail that I'm going into.
At what point does Perrin put on boots during the scene, during the Bubble of Evil scene when they're in the Stone of Tear?
These are the things that I am actually keeping track of. There's this really funny part in Lord of the Rings where they go into the forest and the pony kind of leaves at some point, and the big question is like, at what point does the pony actually leave? So
Mhm.
me and a few people had to like kind of with our magnifying glasses try and figure out where we thought uh, the pony left the party, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of things like that. Like a good example too is at the end of book one, we're all walking through the blight, and maybe the horses are mentioned now and then, but they're there the whole time. So the sounds of them are there around you the whole time. Like there's all that stuff that needs to be kept track of and logged away so that I know, it's not just when it's mentioned, it's the whole time, I've got to create the whole environment.
That's a whole nother layer. That's many other layers.
An intense way to look at the story too, to have all of that detail.
I don't think I'll be able to not look at it like that now that if I ever reread it again.
You get such a vivid experience of what the scene looks like when you go through it that way.
I bet you couldn't be more grateful to how descriptive Robert Jordan was.
It's perfect.
We have a couple of questions in chat. Let's see. So Glenn, the geeky hippie, asks, does he record any of his own audio elements, or are they mostly from libraries?
The Foley stuff is like mostly me doing it because it's too specific not to be. I have a plugin called Walker actually that's amazing for footstep stuff, but closed movement and stuff like that. A good example is when Rand is trying to put together something to drag through the forest. It's really hard to manipulate the sounds from a library to do that. So it's oftentimes just faster and easier for me to do it myself. But there's kind of things for both. Obviously, I don't have a ton of horses that I can go out and record all the time. So I have some libraries for that, but it's not looped in any way or anything like that. It's all specific to every moment. So.
And then I saw chat also talk about syncing. How is that done?
Yeah. I have a how-to sync on my YouTube, so you should check that out. But it's super easy. If you've bought the audiobooks, that's step number one, obviously.
You have to do that.
You gotta have the audiobooks.
As your video says, does not come with the audiobooks.
Yeah, it doesn't include it. But if you have the audiobook and then you have the soundscape, the files start at the exact same point. So in any free software, you can just put one in. It's literally import one, import the other, don't touch anything else, and hit export. And that's the process done. So
there is a lot of free software that does that.
Yeah, Audacity is the main one that I tell people to use because it's kind of the most straightforward, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's just for audio editing, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. Okay. So speaking of the editing process, how does that work? Like, I'm guessing you don't really need to go back and do a lot of re-edits, mainly because you're kind of building it as you go through. But do you, how does that work? Do you finish a project? Do you do like a full chapter and then go back and re-listen, or?
I usually do it in layers. So I have to do the research first, lay out where everything's going to go. Then I usually create the ambiences separately once I have a master list. Then I can just kind of put them in where they belong. Then I'll enter in sound effects that I can't make myself. For the Eye of the World, I needed a whole, I think it was maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks of just horses because there was just so much. Oh my gosh.
Are you going to use the same horse for like Aldeeb throughout the whole series and the same horse?
It's going to be a little tricky with that, but I'm going to try my best. But So then I'll go through and add the Foley after that, kind of do it layer by layer, and then the score is always last, because then I can, when I'm doing the score last, I can tell what moments have enough already with the sound design, which moments need to breathe a little bit, things like that. And that actually leads me to that executive producer tier there, if anyone is interested. That one is fun because those people are the people that get to hear the kind of full works in progress and say, I don't know if that theme works for this character. I don't know if we would hear this element there, things like that. So those are the people for Lord of the Rings,
That's not what chainmail
especially.
sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the people that for Lord of the Rings, lent on a lot to be like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Et cetera, et cetera.
And I saw, so you have guest musician, and I think there was another, the guest musician, the one. So how does that work? You would send somebody like a request for what kind of.
That one is really fun. Basically, if you play, it's a little bit easier too with Wheel of Time, because I feel like it lends itself to whatever instrument a lot easier. So I'm going to write the score, and as I'm going through, I'll have this list of guest musicians, and those people will get to actually play on the score.
That's awesome.
Lend their actual instrument to certain moments and things like that. So
that's really cool.
Fun. Yeah.
So one thing I do want to show people is that, I know, especially within the Wheel of Time community, but most nerd and fantasy communities are very protective of, our stuff, if for lack of a better word, but I want to assure everybody that Michael and Kate, the narrators themselves, actually really do enjoy this project, and you can go and check their Twitter yourself for that, or I could just share it here, where they said, we thoroughly approve this project, which will make listening in real time even more enjoyable. And what's your hurry anyway? Like, why would you want to get it over with? Obviously. And obviously they are also fully behind the Kickstarter, which is fantastic.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Just in case anyone was wondering. So, yes, again, if this fully funds by August 11th, we will have the fabulous prizes again of the backpack for A Memory of Light. Let me go back to our regular view so it's bigger. You can see it. There you go. So there's the backpack for A Memory of Light. And it's actually a really good backpack. A lot of people didn't notice this at WotCon, but it has inner pockets like for a laptop and things like that, which is actually pretty comfortable. This is where I carry my laptop in when I'm at cons. It has 2 pockets on the inside and another small like hidey pocket up inside here that allows you to hide stuff, which is really cool. But a little, another prize that I think people may be a little bit more excited about is, holy crap, it's very heavy. Okay, so these little books right here that some people may have been interested in, seen once or twice before around. This is the first 4 volumes of Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive in hardcover. So
you can hold those up. You've been
they are heavy. This weighs probably about like 8 or 9 pounds. So I was like, damn, like when I went to pick them up like with one hand, I was like, nope, I gotta use 2 hands. So yes. So anyone who backs may have a chance to win these as well. I only have 1 set of these to give out. We will be giving out multiple of the backpacks, but only 1 set of those. Okay. Stop. Don't want to drop them. Then I'll have to replace hardcover books because I'll dent corners. We don't want to dent any corners. And that is going to be a hell of a box to ship, but we love to do it. We love to do it. The other thing that I wanted to mention was that I got to listen to a few other parts of the series, and wow. So like, obviously that first scene walking down the road, not super action-packed, not a lot of stuff going on. But I listened to some other scenes of actually scenes toward the end of the series that you had kind of prepared, and they were amazing. Now, we're not going to play any of those, but we do have another tidbit that is a little bit more action packed that I want to play for everybody before we get ready to wrap up here and announce what the grand prize is for people that back, because we have multiple prizes this time. It's not just the backpacks. All right, so let's see this this next audio bit that we have. Remember to put your headphones on.
From the clear sky, lightning came. Each bolt crisp and sharp, searing his eyes, each bolt striking a winged black shape. Hunting cries became shrieks of death, and charred forms fell to leave the sky clean again. The heat, the terrible heat of the light. He fell to his knees. He thought he could hear his tears sizzling on his cheeks. No! He clutched at tufts of wiry grass for some hold on reality. The grass burst in flame. Please, no! The wind rose with his voice, howled with his voice, roared with his voice down the pass, whipping the flames to a wall of fire that sped away from him and toward the Trolloc host faster than a horse could run. Fire burned into the Trollocs, and the mountains trembled with their screams. Screams almost as loud as the wind and his voice. It has to end! He beat at the ground with his fist, and the earth tolled like a gong. He bruised his hands on stony soil, and the earth trembled. Ripples ran through the ground ahead of him in ever-rising waves. Waves of dirt and rock towering over Trollocs and Fades, breaking over them as the mountains shattered under their hooved feet. A boiling mass of flesh and rubble churned across the Trolloc army. What was left standing was still a mighty host, but now no more than twice the human army in numbers, and milling in fright and confusion. The wind died. The screams died. The earth was still. Dust and smoke swirled back down the pass to surround him. The light blinds you, Baalzamon. This has to end!
Wow.
There we go.
Just wow.
A relatively small moment, if we think about some things to come.
That's
Looks like you're
incredible.
muted,
Tom. Yeah, Tom, you're muted. I see myself crying so much listening to him in that way. Like, that's just so emotion invoking. That's incredible.
For sure.
Mhm.
I without too many spoilers, I could foresee so many feels for future scenes. So many.
Wow.
There's, oh my God, there's Lord Algarin's estate. There's so many things. So many things.
So many.
Yes, I am Noman Garden. I am, in fact, a tease. I do that. I do that. All right. So the final prize, if you back this this Kickstarter and we get it funded, is the full Lord of the Rings soundscape, a long expected soundscape, which is fantastic. So I was just talking with Rob before this about the Lord of the Rings soundscape, and specifically also answered which we already answered the question of lining up the times for the Rosamund Pike and the Michael Kramer and Kate Redding version. Which audiobooks for the Lord of the Rings have you done?
Both versions. It's all there, ready to go. So if you like Andy Serkis, you can do that. If you want to do Rob Inglis, then you can do that. And yeah, that's the whole 60. It's around 63 hours worth of Lord of the Rings soundscape ready to go.
That's freaking awesome.
Crazy.
So I actually haven't listened to the Andy Serkis ones yet, but the Rob Inglis ones are my favorites because so he was my favorite for the Hobbit book as well, because he sings all the songs, and he's actually a really good singer. So I'm really interested to hear that with the audio accompaniment now.
Yeah, much to listen to. And actually, just as a really quick, really fun side note,
Sure.
I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was kind of co-running a booth with Nerd of the Rings and the OneRing.net. And I had my headphones there for people to listen to the soundscape as they were walking by the con and stuff like that. And for those of you that have heard of the name Bear McCreary, the composer for the Rings of Power, for Foundation, Battlestar Galactica, etc., 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 he was by the booth at some point, and I managed to make him listen for a little bit, and it was so cool hearing his thoughts on it. And he started talking about his theme for Shelob and how it compares to mine and stuff like that. And such an awesome moment.
That's really cool. That's freaking awesome. And so now you've kind of had like, you've had that with Lord of the Rings, and now you've had Michael and Kate listening to this one. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah. Maybe we can get Rosamund to somehow hear some of this at some point.
That would be awesome.
We know sometimes the cast and crew do watch our reaction videos to the Wheel of Time stuff. So hopefully we can sneak that in there at some point.
Yep.
That would be really cool, for sure.
Well, I want to make sure everyone go and check out. I'm gonna post a link in chat. Books Immersed over on Instagram, and if you, it's also do you have a website also? Books Immersed, right?
My website is just my name, JordanRennells.com.
Jordan Rennells, okay.
And
again, the Kickstarter. I'm going to post the link again before Jordan leaves us. Everyone who backs the Kickstarter between now and August 11th, and anyone who ups their bid between now and August 11th, and if the Kickstarter fully funds between now and then, or by the end of the by the end of the Kickstarter, you'll win a chance to win one of those fabulous prizes. Again, that will be freaking the 20,000 pounds of Brandon Sanderson books, of the first 4 books of the Stormlight Archive, and the fantastic over-the-shoulder one-strap backpack from a tour that they sent us. This was the Memory of Like book tour backpack that they gave out back in 2013 when the book came out. And the Lord of the Rings full audio accompaniment that Jordan is donating for this as well. So please, please, please go and back this product. Even if you don't have the money to back it, obviously we understand, we fully understand. But if you can even just contribute $1 to I want to back this project, or share it amongst friends and family who like this type of thing and would maybe get a kick out of the Lord of the Rings package, or maybe the Brandon Sanderson's books. Just let's get the word out there and show Jordan what the Wheel of Time community really can do with this kind of thing, because we have we're statistically the best, but as Amazon has learned over the last few years, we're also pretty loud and boisterous when it comes to internet things. So let's get this funded. Let's get this funded.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Jordan, and I look forward to seeing you again on Monday the 12th. Mm-hmm. When we announce who won these prizes. And as I've done in the past, I'll have our nice little wheel of names of everyone who's entered, and I will be pulling them randomly, and we'll see we'll see who wins.
Sounds good. Exciting.
All right, man. We will see you later.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Yeah. See you later, man. So now we get to bring in another awesome person who's been sitting backstage very patiently. And I see him giggling back there, and it's great. I'm going to bring him in. All right, here we go.
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
Yay!
It's a reverse. Hi, reverse.
Fancy meeting you guys here.
Oh, man. And you've been sitting in that landscape this whole time. I hope. I hope that's a window.
No death claws came by, so I'm good.
No death claws. No rad roaches. I hope you have recycled air or something going on.
Well, I take regular Enclave inoculations, so I should be good.
I'm sure they're perfectly healthy.
Like I would ever be allowed in the Enclave.
Oh, God. That's fair. That's fair. So welcome, ReverseBLT, TV show reactor and internet nerd extraordinaire. Also, our dear friend of Dragonmount.
Yes.
And now
I like you guys too.
Yay! And our traditional first episode guest of our new rewatch shows now. It's going to be a thing now as long as you aren't annoyed with us.
Oh no, I'm definitely not.
Yay!
You guys put up with my weird like fidgety movements, so like
that's who I am as a human.
Yeah. Have you met me?
Yeah.
Oh, Erin doesn't love bacon. Poor thing.
No, she does not. She does not love bacon. It's okay though. I eat all of the bacon for everybody.
I assume that's got to be like something bitter when she was a child and did something.
Most of the stuff with food is, to be perfectly honest with you. Though I did cook about 2 pounds of bacon yesterday because I like to keep clarified bacon.
I understand.
Stuff, fat essentially,
in
my freezer, in my refrigerator,
better.
and I use it for cooking. So I just did a whole new batch of that. So it's time to re-clarify it. I usually do it about 2 or 3 times. So anyway, other than
me over by making me a heart patient, so that I love bacon. So my love of bacon basically never gets to be, fulfilled anymore.
If you ever come down to Florida, you're totally invited, and I will cook you some stuff. I love cooking.
Nom nom. Be prepared. Yeah. As you may have guessed from this gut, I can put it away. So.
Oh, I'm right there with you, my friend.
This is not an accident.
Mine either. I saw a really funny stand-up comedian a couple of days ago. I think was it Bill Barr? I think it might have been Bill Barr. I'm not sure. He was like, I've known a lot of fat people in my life, and he's like, most of them, if you see them during the day, you're like, how are you this heavy? I don't see you. You're just eating like a normal person. It's because they do all of their eating after midnight. He's like,
yeah, there's a lot of that. That's true.
True.
And it's also, we're very gifted at packing a crap ton of calories into a very small amount of food without
Exactly.
realizing it. Because I went for years thinking, I don't understand how I have such a hard time losing weight. I hardly ever eat anything.
Oh, it's probably that time I used to dip Snickers bars into the Fluffernutter before I ate them.
Well, you know what it was is that I worked on the road, and so like I was always stopping at fast food joints, and you go for like literally 12-hour shift, 14-hour shift, and you don't eat at all.
Yeah,
you basically forget.
Which is bad too, because then your body's like, we're starving, store everything.
And your metabolism gets all wonky, but then you go and you get into this mindset of like making up for it. And so I would like midnight would roll around. He's absolutely right about that. Midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. The only place open is Wendy's, at least back then. So I roll into Wendy's, and since I haven't eaten all day, I would order like literally like 2 doubles with extra cheese, or like on a really bad day, 2 triples with extra cheese. Oof. And I'm sitting there again in my head. It's like, oh, I'm just eating 2 burgers. That's not that much. Like an idiot, right?
Yeah,
that's like 6,000 calories.
We're eating 6 burgers.
Exactly. And finally one day I looked it up and I realized that like, because also, even though I wasn't eating throughout the day, I was supplementing calories without thinking about it, because I would stop every morning at 7-Eleven and I'd fill up this gigantic thing I had with soda.
Yep.
And so throughout an average day, I literally was putting away about 10 to 12,000 calories.
Yeah. Liquid calories are the enemy.
Yeah. And I also got used to it because I actually, back in the day, you may not believe it now, but I used to be an athlete a long, long time ago. And you get accustomed to eating a metric fuck ton of calories, but you're going to burn them all. They're all going to be gone in a couple of hours of working out and hitting the gym and everything else. So yeah, I would put away probably a good 15,000 calories a day, and I would burn them all, and then slowly I got fat because I was like not being an athlete anymore. But
I feel you, man. That same exact thing happened to me. Anyway, I had surgeries and injuries. Yeah. But speaking of
it'll be
injuries,
useful when it comes time to fight the armies of the Dark One. It takes a lot of calories to channel. Nobody ever thinks about that.
Nope. and at the very least, I mean, you throw the heavy armor on, and the Trollocs will be attracted to us first because
that's true.
It's more to go around in the cook pot.
They never.
It's hard
expect
to
you
make that
travel
human-
either, right? So
Yeah, there you
they
go.
can catch you.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I am not short. I am not fast over short distances. But we are here to watch Fallout. So I'm gonna get my little handy dandy, if I can find on the 27 screens that I have, my clock that we usually use. Where is it? There you are.
Yeah, yours
So
looks
we
much
have our-
nicer than mine.
Clock. What's up?
I said yours looks much nicer than mine. I put up like a rinky-dink one yesterday, and it kept like screwing up.
This is actually just a website that has a timer built in on it, and I just kind of stretch and skew the screen so that it pops up there. A little behind the
I
magic
have to
there.
try that.
Yeah, I'll show you how I do it later. So if you're going to follow along, not in our watch party, which I will share the link to momentarily in chat, then you can, align your show with ours and follow along that way. If you are going to join our watch party, which I just shared in chat, it is through a web extension. If you're using Google Chrome or any Chrome-based browser or even Safari, I believe it will work on both of those. I figured out my problem from last week when we were trying to watch Beetlejuice, which was a recent update from Google Chrome turns off hardware acceleration by default. So if you don't know what that means, very simple. Open up your settings, type in acceleration. It'll pop up. Use hardware acceleration when available. Click yes, and it'll relaunch Chrome real fast, and you'll be good to go, and it'll work. So if you're having any problems with the watch party link, try doing that. And if you're still having problems, then just watch it on your own and align the time with ours. But we'll give everyone a couple of minutes to do that. And while they do that, we could chat a little bit. So Reverse, what do you have coming up for folks next? What is your next show that you're going to be watching?
I'm actually watching Fallout.
Yay! Look at that little coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, because I had not managed to get to it in my queue before you guys, before it was voted to be the next rewatch. So I went ahead and got my butt in gear and watched the first 4 episodes. I had planned to have finished the entire thing by today. Because I was going to watch the first 4 last Sunday and then the second 4 yesterday, but ran into massive technical issues because that's how my whole life is. Whatever I plan always goes sideways at the last minute. So I ended up having to push it. Yeah, it was a whole bunch of stuff that just, I don't know. It was I actually did figure it out. It was mostly my fault, but not all of it, because I have a decently powerful rig and it decides to run like a potato whenever I try to stream with OBS for some reason. So there's a bunch of weird stuff going on. I have no idea, but I was able to iron out enough of it to get it to work. So,
okay.
But like I was saying with the timer, it still got a little wonky. Like when I was using the time, I got a plugin for OBS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I launched it for the first episode, it literally, at least I think it was the timer, but the episode kept pausing just on its own. It was like the timer was reaching out and affecting the browser window that it was in or something. So I had to end up like basically hiding the timer in order for it to not mess with the show. And I was like, what is this right now?
It's the ghosts in the machine.
Arosa, I just saw Arosa say something. Yeah, no spoilers past episode 4, please.
Yeah, no problem. We're used to adjusting our Wheel of Time spoilers for our friends, for first time readers when we do it, so we could easily do that. I mean, we're only watching episode 1 tonight, and it is a rewatch, so that's fine. But we won't spoil past episode 4 for people. There will be definitely like some light spoilers for like video games and stuff, but I feel like the last Fallout video game came out more than 12 years ago, so I feel like if you're getting spoiled on that, then that's your fault.
That's your own fault.
A brand new mod just came out that apparently is so good that Bethesda basically it just ate their lunch pretty much.
Oh yeah, it's
I
so
got
Fallout
the
4,
mod, but I haven't installed it yet.
Fallout 4 New London
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, so Fallout 4 is set in Boston and is a pretty awesome game. Don't get me wrong, very big, lots of stuff to do, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of side quests. And then this person made a full mod that's just basically a full game, another full, gigantic, just as big as Fallout 4, if not bigger, game called Fallout New London, and it's pretty freaking awesome.
And I bet you it's not all glitchy like a full Bethesda product, which would be more amazing.
It is a little bit tough. Not tough. There's a lot of steps for the installation process, but the guy has a lot of really useful YouTube videos out there for how to do it. So maybe I'll do a playthrough for that. I'll play that on stream at some point while we're doing this. That would be fun.
Sorry, I just noticed another weird thing. Shoot. It's unrelated, but I just realized that when I launched the Teleparty, it changed the resolution of one of my monitors.
That's weird.
Tom,
this is my computer. It's got to be my computer. I've got a whole bunch of weird settings that I don't know are there probably, and I just got to dig through them and figure out what's responding to things. Because Windows has a thing where sometimes it can remember monitor settings and everything based on applications. Yeah. So it's probably, I thought I had shut that off, but I guess not. Anyway, tangent.
You mean me. Program just turning things on and off willy-nilly? Yeah, who would have thought?
No.
Right.
Hey, will you throw the link in the private chat too, so I can click it?
Sure, I will do that as well, because I remember to do that all the time.
I just thought about it. Hey, Crystal, did you make the giant button?
Oh yeah, the stop sign for when we start chatting.
No, and I don't even have access to my tiny one. I'm just gonna throw things at my computer screen.
Because I just realized I've already gone on like 4 tangents and we haven't even started the show.
Yeah. Well, I think we gave everyone enough time to get ready to start the show. So if you're watching in the watch party, you don't have to do anything, just hang out. If you're going to follow along to line up the times, I will get ready to do that in just a second here. So I will make sure the times are lined up and I'll give everyone a countdown. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. I think I love being able to do things on the first try. All right. So who has played Fallout before? Chat 2. Who is Yay! It's a roof mistress. The music, the score for this is perfect. I love their music choices for this show. They have a lot of fun homages to things through them as well.
Yay! Okay.
I wonder if anyone notices his cowboy outfit here and his the kids there. It's yellow and blue, kind of like the Vault Tech colors.
Yeah, that was a really fun little reveal. That the way they played with that, I was like, wait a minute, he's Vault Boy.
Pretty much.
That was pretty amazing.
And people, if people like this aesthetic, apparently this is what the new Fantastic Four is going to be. It's going to be a retro futuristic 1950s, which is pretty much what this is.
Which is awesome.
I absolutely love it. You know what it made me think of? What is the movie with Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone? Where they're like trapped. Oh my god!
Yeah, he comes out of like a vault, like a bunker.
It's not Bubble Boy. It's
no.
Not Encino Man.
Nope. Something.
The Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past. That's it.
I think it is Blast from the Past.
I think that's it. Yep. Is that your playtime on Fallout 4?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Damn. Actually, now I'm kind of curious what mine is now. I'm gonna open up Steam. I hope it doesn't break anything when I open it.
I'm actually installing Teleparty on Edge because I realized that for recording purposes, I always have to leave hardware acceleration off on Chrome, but I have it on Edge for when I need to use it with something. So I'm gonna try to get it running in there real quick, just so that I know what we're what we're on.
You got me beat, Nomengard. I'm only at 396 hours. Though I did beat the game. I do spend a lot of time building bases, though, in that game. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love so Grognock. Yeah, I like how they slip in. So there's a lot, just like they did with Wheel of Time. I think they're doing a good job of paying homage to people who are really into like the video games, while at the same time telling a story that is, that fits well for a screen. This is a different kind of adaptation. You can't really do any kind of a shot for shot adaptation or anything like that with a video game, because no two playthroughs are the same. I wonder who does the costuming for this. I'm actually not sure, to tell you the truth. I'd be interested to know if it's the same. I don't think Sharon did these two, though. I don't remember seeing it on her stuff when she was when I was looking into her stuff on Amazon or on IMDb last time.
I feel like Fallout is one of those video games that either you're all in or you don't play it. Because I definitely tried playing when Fallout 3 came out. I hadn't played 1 and 2, and I just could never get into it. But I think that was, I don't know what year Fallout 3 was, but I think that was heavy in the
long time ago.
Halo era, and that took up a lot of my time.
Yeah. This scene is a rough freaking scene. Like, this whole show is pretty rough.
Oh my gosh!
When the light flashed behind him, because I was like, writer brain was engaged the entire time. So the minute they were sitting there talking about the mushroom clouds and everything else, and I realized what their relationship was, I was like, oh, this is when it's going to happen. This is totally when it's going to happen right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, this scene coming up here, like right as shit hits the fan, where the guy's like, "Just let me in your shelter," and they're like, "Nope." It gets serious very quickly. You find out who your friends are.
Yeah, and the Easter eggs are pretty light. Like the kids are watching Garognak, which in the video games is a comic book that when you pick it up increases like your strength and your carry weight and stuff like that in the video games. So, and the sugar bombs are food that you can eat in the game.
Yeah, we got lots of products and
so much product placement in Fallout for products that don't exist, and it's fantastic.
There's a great reference later to side quests, and there's lots of. Oh, and they go right into. I'm probably jumping the gun here because I can't yet see what you guys are watching, unfortunately.
So it just happened, and they're all running.
Yeah, they just happened, and they're running trying to get into the vault.
All right. So yeah, I'll try to hold back what I was gonna say until it gets to the relevant scene, which will be coming up pretty soon. But,
that's why I had the timer, silly pants.
Yeah, I'll end up having to use it probably.
I know, right? The only product placement they did was on some of the Amazon boxes. I think I kept one of the one box that I got.
I order an absurd amount, and I don't know that I think I got one, and it was like when it was raining, and so the box was destroyed, and I didn't even get to keep it. Yeah. Oh.
So apparently, hardware acceleration had been turned off somehow on my Edge as well. So.
Yeah, that'll do it. So one thing that I think
did it.
I mean, that's what broke the stuff for the extension before. I also like that we got a clear 219 years later. Like in the games, it's not always clear.
Yeah, that's very confusing.
Well, one thing that was still confusing for me was because I remember, so I after playing 3, I went on a lore dive wiki because that always ends up happening to me once I realize there's juicy lore hiding behind something. And it seemed like 1 and 2, which were done by a different company, I guess, was it like Interplay or something like that, did the first 2? And
those
the
weren't
conceit-
first-person shooters, I don't think, right?
No, they
No,
were.
they were like top down. They
Yeah.
were like was it
Yeah.
isomorphic? Is that what they call that?
Mhm.
But the original idea was that it wasn't 200 years or 300 years or whatever from now. So the war itself was supposed to be in the future too, because the idea was that humanity had basically gotten super advanced and then adopted this 50s aesthetic. So that's why it was retro-futuristic, and then the bombs dropped. But like, I guess when Bethesda took it over, they just basically just were like, no, it's an alternate timeline, and
I kind of like that
couple hundred
better,
years from
to tell you the truth.
now. Yeah, I like the original idea better, at least assuming that that's even right, because you know how that stuff goes. Half the time you see something like that, and it turns out it's apocryphal. It's not even true.
Yeah.
But I was a little confused as to where we were time-wise because of that, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. If anyone is recognizing Ella Purnell there, that's the woman who plays Lucy, and has seen Arcane. She played Jinx as well, and that was a great show. Also, need to add that to the list of shows to add.
I didn't
to
even
a
recognize her
future goal.
voice there. And yeah, so it's not working. I'm gonna have to use the timer.
That stinks.
All right, you're at 9:21.
They answer a lot of like, silly questions too, that like gamers would always pose about like the vaults and, kind of like how did they survive for so long and not end up being all inbred and things like that. And like they play with that a lot in this, and it's fun.
Yeah, the answer is that they did end up being all inbred.
Yeah, and some of them.
Yeah.
What I loved, so I already missed this. So what I was going to say is I really loved how they, her introduction was the specials loadout.
Yeah.
When you choose your stats.
Yeah.
They're literally going through choosing her stats.
so that's another little thing from the Fallout games, the special, which is like, what is it? Strength, perception, intelligence, endurance,
what are the
charisma?
No, charm. Charm is
charm. Okay.
Charm.
I think it's either charm or charisma, but it's the same basic thing.
Yeah.
It allows you to do to smooth talk people.
Yeah.
Yeah, intelligence, strength. Yeah, I
endurance, charisma,
A is agility, right?
Luck. Agility and luck, yeah. And like, that's what you would increase as you play through the game. And then those broke down into like abilities and things that you could do.
Yeah, like you'd have entire dialogue options that you couldn't do.
I want to see this guy play like a full like out and out villain. Kyle
McLachlan or something. I love him, but
he never played
that was my Sex in the City days.
I don't remember if he has in anything, because I feel like he would be a really good villain.
Oh, he absolutely would. Because all of his heroes are played with an edge too, like he always has like a vaguely sinister edge to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what though? I can think of one role where they took full advantage of that. If you guys have seen The Hidden.
The Hidden? No.
Yeah. It's a sci-fi horror from, I want to say like somewhere around like 1986 maybe, in which he plays like mild spoiler because I'm pretty sure they do reveal this pretty early in the film. He plays an alien. And the idea is there's two aliens who are hunting each other, and they kind of play with him a little bit where it's like you're not really sure he's the good guy even though he's presented as the good alien, and it's like, is the other alien really the bad one? You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I like how they make the vault dwellers here seem innocent on some things, but also and prudish in some way, but they're also not. Like that.
No.
Like how she was talking with what's his face here about like, oh yeah, it's okay to do stuff with your cousins when you're young,
Yeah.
but when it's time to get married,
But you don't do it when you're an adult.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
And my reaction when she said that, I went, Oklahoma.
Where the wind blows whizzing through the trees.
And the irony is that's what their vault is based on. It's based on Oklahoma. So it's
Yep.
clearly someone on the writing team thinks like me.
Messing around with messing around with your cousin is all well and good for kids. Oh God.
And another bit of excellent casting that I didn't really notice the first time around, but they actually made most of the people in the vault look like they could actually be
related.
first
Yeah.
cousins or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name is there too? I forgot that he was in this first episode. He's a comedian background there. He plays one of like the people that's like on the border. Oh, Zach Cherry.
Okay, that's
He's great.
I was noticing that the cast was actually fairly stacked with comedians doing somewhat serious turns.
Well, this is billed as like a comedy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, black comedy.
Yeah.
And as Robin Williams pointed out a long time ago, it's far easier for a comedian to do drama than it is for a dramatic actor to do comedy.
Yep.
1000%.
Yep. Do it well anyway.
Yeah, she's amazing too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love her.
So this is one of the few things that I will ding them on just as much as I praise them on it. Casting. The casting was incredible in the show.
Mm-hmm.
However, there were a few moments where, you know, the central casting trope was strong because I pegged her as a villain immediately.
Well, I mean, like she's a powerful person. She has a lot of presence on screen for her to not be playing something substantial, I feel like.
Yeah. And there also was a lot of there's a lot of camera language that says that something's wrong too. Like from pretty early on when we meet the Vault 33 folks.
Yeah. Oh yes,
sorry, Vault
32. That is who.
Yeah, he's a villain.
Yeah, that's who he. Yeah, technically, kind of is. He turns into a villain later on. Spoiler for Dune. That is who McLaughlin played in Fallout. I also knew that they were raiders as soon as I saw that woman eating.
The woman
like
with
that.
the
I was like,
yeah. I didn't pick up that they were raiders, but I knew something was very wrong. What I thought had happened was that their vault had experienced a social collapse because of famine. I was just
like that. It reminds me of like a pirate. You know what I mean? Like, and that's essentially what the raiders are.
Yeah. And then you see all the tattoos,
scars. I didn't. You know what? I don't think I noticed that the last time.
Yeah.
It's the greasy hair.
Brilliant details you only notice the second watch. Oh, sorry, Crystal. I didn't mean to talk over you there.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, I was saying Rapunzel's right. Like they looked unkempt, and they shouldn't if they're living in another vault. They just didn't seem very clean.
Yeah.
That's why I had read it as being that their vault had just collapsed and they had gone insane.
That's fair.
I didn't even think of raiders.
So you know who Sarita, that's the woman who's playing like the leader of the raiders there. She would have been a good Varen too, I feel like.
Ooh, yeah.
That's Zach Cherry in the background right there with the beard.
And another person, beautiful but scary Indian lady. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely works.
I always remember her name because I was good friends with a Sarita in high school. Sarita Williams, though. I think her name is like Chudhuri or something like that. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but
yeah, I'm not sure how to say that. I always said Chowdhury, but that's probably completely wrong.
Yeah, I think it's. I also like how quickly the Vault Dwellers kind of like adopt being like badasses.
Oh yeah.
Well, some of them anyway.
Yeah, some of them do. I love what they do with her friend there. That the woman that plays her friend that's pregnant right now.
Yeah, she's interesting.
Yeah, her little arc that she has is fun to watch.
And actually, that brings up something that I really want to praise. Every single character we've been introduced to, at least up to the point I'm at, has been interesting. Like even the minor bit characters are interesting in some way, you know?
Yeah,
and I love the fact
absolutely.
that we went back to revisit what was going on in 33, you know, rather than just it being the starting point and us moving on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people mention Homeland often. I have not watched Homeland. Maybe I should watch that.
I was gonna watch it, and then I saw a scene that said, "Yeah, I need to be in the right headspace for this." Like one of those shows that's a little uncomfortably real, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Arosa,
oh yay, and commercials now, hooray!
Oh, you guys are having oh yeah, because you're watching. Yeah, okay. If I don't have commercials on this one, so sorry if you have a commercial, you can catch back up.
That was something I was wondering how it would affect teleparties. Is like if you were watching and you
it would
don't
happen
have
at the same
commercials
time because we're all essentially watching one stream.
Right.
So, but yeah,
but
so
the point
Arosa,
is like you
sorry.
playing though, right?
What's up?
Like it didn't pause. It doesn't pause. For
No,
you,
no,
though,
it doesn't stop for me. No.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So when the commercials end for us, we'll all be behind you guys by like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
No, our time still looks lined up to the timer. Do we just miss that part? Maybe.
Yeah, you might. If you have a commercial, you might have to catch back up. But we could talk about what's happening, though. Though, real quick, Arosa, the scenes within the vaults are a lot like Silo, and I do like Silo better for that. But 90% of the show does not take place in the vaults. The vaults are like just a little sub part of this show.
Yeah.
Married or not, this scene really weirded me out. That she just turns around and he's completely naked. I was like, no, that is red flags like everywhere.
Just like red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
She's
down to go too. She's ready to go.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a fuck.
That's what I actually loved about that scene was that it was a really good way of telling us a lot about her. You know?
Yeah.
Because we found out just in like 20 seconds that she's the type of person who just instantly adapts and is ready to go. She doesn't even like she stops for a half a second to go, oh, that's unusual.
I'm also glad they're showing the women in that scene specifically, like not being like submissive or kind of like innocent or whatever. You know, it's more like, you know, she's enjoying what she's doing. She wants to take part just as much as he does. So like that's much better, I feel like. And then, you know, you got to wonder how she feels afterwards when she finds out that.
Yeah.
And she did some great acting here too, because like you see how like after she's all like, "Yay, that was great," but she notices that he, even before the turn, she notices that he's just like not present, you know. And she starts to have this reaction to it.
The little bit there with the
oh wait, I just realized. I'm sorry, guys. I was talking about something that hadn't happened yet on screen, wasn't I? Because I thought I would sync back up with you, but it jumped me.
You're fine. You're fine. And I'll post the link to the watch party again, just in case anyone new is popping in and wants to watch it. Again, if you do try to join the watch party, it'll have you download an extension, which is free. It's a legit extension. Netflix made it. And you do have to have hardware acceleration on in your web browser to watch. So make sure that is on.
You don't like him? I actually really like him. I think originally from Hateful Eight, or he was also in.
He's in a ton of stuff.
He's one of those guys that's done a little bit of everything. I've always liked him.
Was he in Raising Arizona? Because I have this feeling that that's where I first saw him, and I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'd have to IMDb him.
I don't know.
Goggins, yeah.
Goggins,
one of the. Feels like he was one of the guys pursuing them in Raising Arizona.
Which is also one of my husband's favorite movies.
I'm saying.
That's such a goofy movie.
Gross
Yeah, when he
ass
was like
movie.
rubbing him, like wiping himself off with a curtain, I was like, "The hell?"
Uncouth.
No.
I probably should have. This was the moment when I started to go, "Wait a minute."
Like, what are you doing? She's got her Pip Boy on.
Yep, and she's reading all the radiation on him.
Oh yeah, look at that. Rads are off the chart. He needs to get some rat away. And also not helpless. Like that's another thing that I like that they did with this. She is not helpless in any way.
Oh my gosh, when she goes Rambo bride here in a minute, that was one of my favorite parts of this entire season.
Yeah. Kind of reminded me of the scenes from Kill Bill when what's her face is in the dress. Uma Thurman.
Yeah. Love her.
I could totally see her like saying, "Nobody makes me bleed my own blood."
Fucking Steven Seagal. Nobody beats me in the kitchen.
Because she really did have this like great look of defiance there, like like she was genuinely upset. Not so much like she wasn't afraid as much as angry. And that was what was interesting.
Yeah, that was like
immediately goes for the knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she knows what she's doing. It looks like they
so
had
much
some
good. There's so much good showing, not telling, going on in this.
Yeah. She had halfway decent combat training, like a little bit. No, there was outcry. Don't worry. No, yeah. The incels and the misogynists did have lots to say about just, first of all, there being a female lead at all in a show.
Yep.
And then that was there too.
And there are a lot of guys who fundamentally don't know how fighting works. You can tell because they won't understand how a smaller opponent can defeat a larger one. You know what I mean? Like they'll see a scene where a smaller person beats a larger person and think it's BS just because. I always call that Dragon Ball Z logic, where it's like you think that power levels are what determine the outcome of a fight.
Yeah. Man, I can't tell you how many times when I used to do jujitsu, I would have my ass handed to me by my 5'5", 140-pound teacher. Like just completely demolished.
Oh, by the way, this stim packs make me think that nanotechnology must exist in the Fallout universe. They fix way too much.
Yeah. Stim packs. I mean, like I don't really think they really went into them in the video game, other than like the stim packs in the video game are basically just like and stim packs, they'll make you feel better and heal all wounds, and that's pretty much it. That's all you get on stim packs.
Yeah, they don't tell us why. And obviously, for game mechanics, they're just there to give us a way to recover health. But but the way they use it could be stem cell
technology too. That's interesting.
It would be the most rapidly working stem cell technology ever made. That's for sure. And I love
there's also people turning into
ways
radiation. So
yeah. There's so many
become
ways
immortal.
that they do like video game stuff without really just calling it out, but it being completely accurate. Like she gets her rinky dink little starter weapon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Her
it's
freaking straight gun.
Which is another interesting thing, honestly. Like so she's killed one person now, and it was almost an accident. Like that first kill was like I would say almost. Yeah, because like she went to go hit him with that bottle again, and it cut his throat.
And here's her second kill, which is also an accident.
Yeah.
There's no way that guy survived it.
But when she did, there is a bit of a character kind of shift when she switches to real guns and starts just.
Yep.
The other thing, and I won't spoil for future episodes for anyone that hasn't done it, this is not past episode 4, but within the video games, so Vault Tech, the company that does the vaults and stuff, but way more than the vaults too, in the video games, are kind of not the greatest people in the world. And
they're straight up evil.
Yeah. I always felt like that the storyline was they kind of dropped the ball on that in the video game in a lot of spots, but I think they do a lot better in the show with. For
I
sure.
think in the game they rely on the sort of they rely on the lore that you pick up from terminals and stuff, and on the how to say it, the sort of incongruity between what you're seeing and the advertisements everywhere from Vault-Tec, where it's just like you early on kind of start to get the feeling that the company is too clean and shiny to be real, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you start discovering, like, you know, the other vaults and things that are being done at the other vaults and all these sorts of stuff, you go, wait a minute.
Oh, here,
these
look,
guys
check this
are-
out. This is that was almost an imitation, like this is an imitation of like the atomic bomb going off. If you look, it's
Yeah.
like the it's like, you know, overtaking the landscape as it goes.
Well, have you ever seen the pictures of the first tests?
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. It's looked
Oh, yeah.
exactly like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like little bubble, you know?
And the thing with the thumb that they talk about, that's a real thing that they teach people.
Really? So
When
I
you-
was
if you
wondering
hold your
about
thumb
that.
up over the thing, if it's bigger than your thumb, you don't even bother.
Oh. I was wondering when they talked about it, like whether it's without even wondering whether it was something that was really taught ever. I was wondering whether it was something that would actually work. You know what I mean? Like, does it actually tell you anything in real life?
I mean, pretty much, yeah, it does. Like it's like if that's close enough, then yeah. There's very little survival rate if you can see that level of things. So it's pretty close.
By the
I would
way,
say.
the raider who just died, she's one of those stunt ladies who's in so much stuff that I recognized her right away. And I couldn't figure out for what, but then I realized, oh wait, it's because I've seen her do tons and tons of stunts.
Now we have to look her up when we're done with this. I'm going to make a note of that.
It's like Patricia Tallman, who was Lita Alexander in Babylon 5. It's like, you will recognize her if you ever see her, because she's been a stunt woman for like 40 years and she's been in like everything. If you ever see a redhead getting thrown off a building, it's probably Patricia Tallman.
That's funny.
I thought all of the gore, especially in this first episode, was really beautifully done. Like, it wasn't disgustingly gory. Like, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they take it too far.
Yeah, like The Boys. Like, it's not The Boys level of gore. It's
most of
like,
the time.
Yeah, it's done in a way that seems realistic and not like just done for shock value.
Also, if I have to be murdered drowning in pickles, you know, that's not I don't think that's a terrible way to go. I like pickles.
Oh man, but
It's
think
not
about
awful.
think about that giant cut on his face and all that vinegar.
Well, that would burn. Yeah, that burn like a son of a bitch.
It's gonna hurt. There's also some interesting visual storytelling breaking down like how different people fought back or didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like her brother, there was an early clue about the direction of his storyline. The fact that he wasn't effective,
very comfortable,
but he tried. You know what I mean? Like at first he hid, and then when she dragged him out and was about to stab him, he grabbed the knife, and you could see him trying to figure out what to do next. But you got the feeling he's a fighter. He's a thinker.
He didn't want to let it out though. He didn't want to show his hand, and he also seemed very comfortable with what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good at.
I don't know who you are.
No, I don't know who you are. We don't.
I remember
know
thinking
who
to
you
myself,
are.
she must not be from the game because I don't know who she is.
No, she's not. Her character does not have a game.
But I believe adaptation. Well, I won't call this an adaptation because it's it's set in the world of Fallout. It's not like adapting Fallout. You know what I mean? But when I think of an adaptation, I think of you're telling the same story that's already been told, not telling another story in the same world. You know?
That's fair. I mean, they do call it adaptation, and I think out of all of the video game adaptations that I've seen my entire life, this is definitely, if not the best, in the top 3.
Yeah, so far I'm extremely impressed. I'll put this right up there with, but I haven't played Last of Us at all, so I can't really compare that to the game.
The show is very good.
I really like Last of Us, and I will say this is right up there with that, even though it's different.
Using your logic for adaptation, The Last of Us is more of an adaptation. because it is actually the story from the game. See, the thing about the problem with doing Fallout is an open world. So there's so much that you could do, and there isn't really a singular story in Fallout. So,
do you know what I'm really scared for? Borderlands. The movie terrifies me. I've played so many hours of that.
Listen,
game.
I went. And, by the way, if you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, like go and see it. Absolutely,
oh my God, we're so
right
excited.
now. See it 1,000 times. It was amazing.
I gotta wait to react to it, but I'm glad that I've been hearing good things about it from most
people. I'm excited to see
it on these things.
I saw the Borderlands preview before it, and it's either going to be hilarious and great or a complete dumpster fire. I'm not sure.
That other than like Elder Scrolls, that's probably if you count the whole franchise, the most hours I've logged on a video game. So I have very high expectations.
Abe's World. That's an old game.
Wait, as in like
Abe's Odyssey? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I would absolutely love to see a live action Oddworld.
Now I just want an Earthworm Jim adaptation.
That's my mom's favorite video game.
Earthworm Jim?
Earthworm Jim.
That's fantastic.
Purely because she laughs like a little kid every time she hears Queen Slug for a butt.
Yeah. And here's another thing that the internet incels and shit were mad about. There's black people in my show.
What? How dare they?
I like what they do with the Brotherhood here too, where it's like they're more innocent than the way they're sheltered and sheltered, and kind of secluded from the world and stuff like that. I like that.
Yeah, really leaning into the whole monastic lifestyle kind of idea.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this is, I think, the first time we've ever actually really gotten a look at the Brotherhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
from the
fun fact for everyone, yes, Rapunzel, you got it. So, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Zelia, that is,
the Soldom from
from Real Time. I'm trying to remember. Is it Rena? Rena, right? Yeah, Rena.
Rena. There we go. So, I'm glad that I got that right then, because in the reaction, I was like, wait a minute, isn't that Soldom?
Yep.
I'm glad they're getting more roles. That's great, because they blew it away in freaking Wheel of Time.
Yeah, they were incredible.
And they are also why I have this concept when people ask me, like, am I, what my orientation is, I tend to describe myself as boner binary. By which I mean you either turn me on or you don't. To date, I've never been like turned on by people I perceive as men. But I will say, like, they are non-binary. I said it right the first time. But they're non-binary, but they turn me all the way on. Like this, like Rena, I don't care. They turn me all the way on. So
well, welcome to the almost pansexual group.
Yeah, I'd say, like, if I could just, like, I don't know what it is about, like, people I read as guys, like, who, like, my brain goes, that's a man. But yeah, I'm just not into them.
Fair enough.
The best I can do is I can see how people who are into men would be into them. That's like the best I can do. There are definitely men who I wish I was built like,
that's
or
fair.
Look like, you know what I mean? Like Jason Momoa is pretty much the top of that list.
No one. I don't think anyone can say Idris Elba ain't a good-looking man.
Oh no, he's.
Yeah, I wish I looked like Idris Elba. That'd be fun. One little detail though that I just noticed: the Brotherhood has cigarettes.
Yep.
Yes, that the children smoke. It's great.
Well, I mean,
anything to keep you coming back for more,
right?
well, especially because cigarettes are like a really hard thing to come by in the Fallout games themselves. So, like, it's like a thing that they kind of do in the background. So having them addicted would keep you, keep them there just for another layer of, control.
But it's also another way of demonstrating how many resources the Brotherhood is hoarding.
Oh yeah.
Because cigarettes are the most incredibly expensive and difficult to get.
Oh yeah. Next to some of the other, people from the well, I guess we said we were going to spoil the video game. So in the video games, there's a group called the Institute, but next to the Institute, they are the most technologically advanced in the Fallout universe, except for the aliens, because there's a literal alien in Fallout 4.
Speaking of spoilers, but that's a fun one.
Hey, the video, that's a video game thing.
And I also said, I really do hope they show up at some point in some fashion in the show. I mean, that would be like the ultimate Easter egg. Is if we get at least something.
Yeah, that was fun. Yes, I mean, like, television is starting to finally reflect what the world actually looks like, and I'm really anxious to just see what the generation that grows up with that is, you know, how they are versus, you know, how every other generation has been before.
Well, Tom, I mean, there's your whole reason for why a certain group of people get so upset over it.
Yeah, I know why. We're the same age as those people, and we don't get upset.
Yep.
Yeah, because we weren't raised to be bigots, thankfully.
That's fair.
Yep. Thank goodness. Yeah, no, when I was growing up, like, I didn't have any teachers or people in authority. Like, I live in the middle of the country of color at all. I am so thankful. Like, half of the teachers at my son's school are women of color. Really funny story. He walked up to his teacher the other day with his little buddy and said, "Teacher, you're chocolate." And she looked right at him and she goes, "And you're vanilla, kid." Like,
in more ways than one, son.
It was beautiful.
That's fun. Oh, another weird little thing that I thought was really cool bit of world building was how societies adapt to keep traditions even when they don't necessarily make a whole lot of sense anymore. So, like, they still play basketball, but obviously they don't have balls, so all they can do is they play it with bricks instead.
Do you think that's a reference to putting up a brick? Like, oh, he threw up a brick.
Well, they also wasn't there also, because I wasn't the most avid basketball player, but isn't there also the saying like taking the brick downtown or something like that for like making a dunk?
Well, no, usually when it's a brick, it's like, you know, like it dropped like a brick, like you missed.
Oh, okay. We always just call those air balls.
That's another way to say it.
But yeah, I sucked at basketball.
That might be I don't know if that's a Northeast thing. Like, anytime someone would miss a shot when we were kids, you would just be like, brick.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was air ball or like whiff.
Yeah, whiff I knew. Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know. It's interesting. It's like how much of that is regional. You know?
Yeah, I never know.
Do you guys have a favorite storyline? Like a favorite character?
In the show?
In the show?
Yeah, in the show.
I really, so I like watching Lucy more. But his storyline, Maximus's storyline, is a really interesting one. Like what he goes through mentally, and like what he, like, I won't spoil past episode 4, but the things that he does and how he, you know, excuses himself in his own mind and the stages that he goes through are really interesting.
This is one of the most. I will say that this element of his storyline is one of the most compelling parts of the show for me. This question, because they don't resolve it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway.
No. Not at all.
For me, all 3 of them are the same story, so it was kind of hard for me to separate them in a sense.
Yeah, they mirror each other, and that's, you know, obviously.
Well, I decided that the theme of the show was ideals versus reality, you know, and each one of them is exploring that concept from a different angle. Though Lucy and Cooper are also examining it from the perspective of being the same person, basically, just at different points in their journey.
Yeah.
And like whether or not each of them can move back along the spectrum. You know what I mean? But that's so
who's Norma?
I'm not really sure I can separate them yet, you know, because in my mind they're essentially all the same story.
Oh, Norma. Oh, the kid, her brother. Right. Okay.
Norm is very interesting. He's the reason why I'm glad that we keep going back to 33.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
interesting. His is interesting too. I'm interested to see what they do with him. But I like the dynamic, the mental gymnastics that Maximus puts himself through, and like the dichotomy of his internal monologue versus like what he's trying to be and what he wants to do and that kind of thing. It's interesting. Lucy is more fun though, for sure.
There's so much great acting in this show, though. That's one of the things that I keep going back to. Like, for me, having full control over this is always the greatest mark of an actor. And like, for instance, they brought up Norm, and watching Norm through this entire scene is so fascinating because you can see that he feels guilty. You can see that he feels ashamed of himself, and you can see the beginnings of this rage starting to boil up in him, and it's just amazing.
Also, Leslie Uggams there. She was in. She plays Blind Al in Deadpool.
Oh, okay. So I was right. I was thinking that she looked like the lady from Deadpool, but I was like, nah, probably not. Okay.
Yep, she's Blind Al.
And the blonde also looks familiar to me from something, but I can't think of what. The pregnant
her friend with one eye.
Yeah,
you're just thinking about Uno now from Wheel of Time. That's what
you know who I keep thinking who I think I might be thinking of constantly is Kristen Wiig.
Oh wow.
Okay, maybe like
this
a really
is me
young
too, Rapunzel. Me too. My resting bitch faces.
So Rapunzel, what it means is that you just have to choose your roles very carefully so that you can make the most use out of your natural.
Just always be a villain, then you'll be fine.
And I pegged that as being a something about the future immediately because they focused on that poster that said "Don't lose your head," and then when they paid it off, that's another thing. This show's writing is all about setup payoff. There's this constant setup payoff going on where they have these little tiny moments or little things in the background that set up a scene later, and I think it's brilliant. They did very good work, I gotta say. Very good work.
Yeah. I'm curious what the budget for this was.
It looks really good. It never came across as cheesy, or it was very well done.
$153 million.
Over 8 episodes? Not too bad. Considering all the stuff that they had to build to make this work.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. I mean, a lot of this has to be custom done.
And I have to say, there were only a few moments where the CG felt a little weird, and it never looked bad. It just sometimes there were movement tracking issues. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Also, a lot of stuff now is filmed for 4K. So if you're not watching it on 4K, it will appear both dark and also a little out of sync. So like that's a lot of people's complaints about things of being like really dark. It's so dark. It's if you watch whatever that is on a 4K camera, I mean a 4K television or a 4K display, it wouldn't be that dark.
Yeah, because you have to make it darker because the 4K displays push so much brightness. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like obviously 4K is more expensive now, but it's becoming the norm. It's becoming the standard for like the minimum standard. It's the same thing, as people switched from CRT televisions to like, flat screen televisions, where things just started being filmed for flat screen televisions, and everyone with CRTs was like, oh, I gotta switch over. It's eventually you will. And those 4K televisions will drop from minimum $600 to $800. They'll be the normal $250 TV will be 4K.
Yeah, in another couple years.
Yeah. Though we are rapidly approaching the maximum that the human eye can see, like the frame display, the frame rate that the human eye can see. We'll be there not too long from now.
I think I thought we already passed it, didn't we? Because I thought
our maximum... we're not there yet. Soon.
Okay.
How many times do I have to turn off the fucking dragon?
I'm telling you, man. Skynet's got a crush on you.
They do.
They're just trying to show us your pajamas again.
I did not notice how tiny he was. I'm boring today. I'm just wearing gray pants. They're soft. They're really soft, but they're just gray. They're not fun. I wore my Deadpool underwear with my Deadpool t-shirt and my Deadpool socks to go see Deadpool, though.
That's commitment.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you see the people? Speaking of idiots on the internet, did you see the people who were complaining about or not complaining, but who were talking about how like Deadpool and Wolverine was successful because it was anti-woke?
No,
It
oh
absolutely
Lord.
wasn't in any
They were
way.
like none of this transness or gayness or other stuff. People were like, do you not know anything about Deadpool like at all?
Zero about Deadpool.
No.
do you know what he specifically wants to do with Logan?
Yeah.
It's like the
There's
people-
a lot of overtly sexual scenes in Deadpool.
You don't know
that are
how
not
people make
straight.
it.
Was that
Make,
Crystal?
no, I was just saying, like, I just don't know how some people like are into something, claim to like it, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, it's woke." Like the example my
it's like-
husband gives is people get mad at a Rage Against the Machine show, and they're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
What
that's my
machine
favorite.
did you think they were
political.
raging against?
Or we
Yeah,
saw like
which
Roger
machine
Waters.
did it?
Yeah,
you think
we
it
saw
was the
Roger
washing
Waters
machine?
Yeah, the what?
You gotta remember-
against, House projects.
It is amazing to me. I thought someone on Twitter actually finally made it make sense, because they were talking about how they some of their friends who were hardcore conservatives went to a convention and were excited about seeing Jerry Ryan do a panel, and then she spent like 10 minutes raging against like Donald Trump and MAGA and all this other stuff, and how they just wanted to go to this place and turn their brains off and have fun. I said, oh my God, that's it. They're watching all these things with their brains turned off.
Without, yeah.
That's
explains
the
a
only thing
lot
that
of
can
it.
explain it. Because how else can you watch Star Trek, of all things, and think that it supports the conservative agenda? I've seen people try to argue that not only is Star Trek,
Oh, you mean
not
Star
political
Trek
at all, but that
with
it's
the first
conservative
interracial
political.
kiss on camera?
Yep.
I tell people all the time, politics is in everything.
Yeah.
Literally
Yep.
everything. The
It's
minute
just
you have
that
at least
most of
two
the
people
things that
together-
you've watched in the past were the politics that you ascribed to.
Mhm.
And now,
Exactly.
you know,
If you
other
don't notice
people-
the politics, it's because you agree with it, or because you're too young and or too stupid to
you're not
recognize
wrong.
it.
You're not wrong,
understand the
Thomas.
reference.
Those are the only things.
Oh yeah, no, they had a Roger Waters show here in Kansas City, and of course, like The Wall, we're talking about Pink Floyd here. It comes up and people walked out because it was like anti-Trump, like comparing Trump to the Nazis, and some people in my fair city
Yeah.
walked
My
out. I was like, goodbye.
I went and saw Nick Offerman, so Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec and stuff. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I saw he does like a thing. I wouldn't call it like a stand up, but it's almost like a stand up. He also sings and talks, and it's
Yeah,
a
he's
really
he's
fun
triple
show. If he
threat.
ever goes through your area, go and see him. But he said what I always do at the beginning of my show is play this song. He's like, and it was around the time that Brett Kavanaugh was being put on the Supreme
Oh
Court.
Lord,
And he starts playing this song, and it's called "I Like Beer," and it's just really like a minute and 30-second song of ripping into Brett Kavanaugh and conservatives. And he's like, the reason I like playing that is the exact reason that woman is getting up and walking out right now. He's like, because a small percentage of the people that come to see me think that my character Ron Swanson isn't a joke that I'm playing throughout that throughout Parks and Rec, but I am not that, and either is he. And goodbye.
Yep.
And it's
See ya.
hilarious.
Best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because honestly, who wants those types of fans?
Not even a little. I looked up the writers for this too. One of them has done a bunch of stuff, then one of them has pretty much only done this, Captain Marvel, and the Tomb Raider, the newest Tomb Raider movie.
Mm.
Sorry, I'm waiting for it to catch up so I can receive it.
They're
This is when they're questioning
interviewing
him,
Maximus
yeah.
right now. Yeah,
Putting him to
this
So
guy's
my
good too.
thought-
I hope we see.
the head cleric.
Yeah, well, no. The guy that plays Maximus. I'm hoping we see him in more stuff too now.
Oh yeah, he did fantastic. Someone was saying that they should have cast him as the new version of Kang instead of rolling out.
Oh
with
yeah,
this
he does
weird-
look a lot like. I mean, he's nowhere near as big as Jonathan Majors. Yeah, Jonathan Majors, but he does kind of look a lot like him. He's got similar hair, similar.
And the beauty of the beauty of the
bone structure.
multiverse is he does not have to look exactly like him at all. You know what I mean?
No.
Like it's
He
the
could look like
multiverse.
Robert Downey Jr. for all
Yeah,
that.
there are
Marvel
literally
cares.
trillions of versions of Kang. You know, my headcanon is that RDJ is playing a Doombot.
I think they're using him as a red herring, and he's going to come back, and then like we're going to get the real Doctor Doom. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, at Comic-Con, they revealed that Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Doctor Doom. But I think, like I said, that's a red herring. I think they're just going to have him play it for either part of the movie or just that movie, and then the real Doctor Doom is going to come and like kill him or come and show up and be like, "I'm the real Doctor Doom."
Exactly. I'm telling you, he's a Doombot, because that would be the greatest thing ever. If they're gonna have him come back, like you said, basically a glorified cameo, have him be a Doombot. He either blows up or Doom destroys him or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and they could use it as a bit of a tie-in to the fact that there is a future version of Kang who is a direct relative of Doctor Doom and has some connections with Iron Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's ways for Marvel to be cooking something behind the scenes that we're not aware of right now.
Yeah.
But back to this, one of the things I loved about this scene was the subtle feeling that they wanted him to have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're asking him because the way they're asking him because they kind of want him to have done it.
Yeah. They want him to have
that's the type of person they want.
And I loved how he controlled his voice throughout this, like how his voice gets deeper and more confident as he gets more resolve in him.
Yeah, It seems like he's almost disassociating a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. The writers, we have to give credit to the writers' room at Bethesda. If there's one thing they've consistently shown they're amazing at, it's writing.
Storytelling, yeah, for sure. So I want to put up a picture real quick. The armor that we're seeing right now is most likely the T-45, but it could be the T-51, I think. So that would be the armor that's on the bottom row, second from the left. I really want the X-01 armor. I'm really excited to see if they do that, which is the armor that's second from the right on the bottom row there. That armor is really
like partly. Wasn't that one supposed to be like partly reverse engineered from alien technology or something?
Yep. It's the most advanced armor you can get in Fallout 4 and Fallout 3, I think.
I also love this scene because they're literally telling him that if he did do it, they're cool with it. You know?
Yeah, like it's okay. It's okay if he did it.
Yeah. It's like respect, which is crazy. The Brotherhood, they are a bunch of lunatics, though. That's the whole point. They're fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
They take these children and raise them up to be 100% die for the cause.
It's very, if anyone is a fan of the Warhammer 40K, it's a lot like the Space Marines, and there's a lot of like militaristic religious orders in popular fantasy and science fiction that do that.
I wonder why. I wonder what the inspiration for that is.
And then, but there's also like, and most of them are bad, right? Except one.
Which one would that be?
The Jedi. Except,
I don't know,
are
man.
they bad? No, they're bad. They're bad. They're definitely bad.
Yeah, there's definitely an "Are we the baddies" moment waiting for at least some of those guys.
Was that official content or is that a mod? That's cool. I haven't played Fallout in forever.
And like, look how hard he's going to try to impress these guys. Like, I'm not even going to accept the bite down strap.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens with indoctrination and fanaticism. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right. I haven't played Fallout 4 in a minute. Actually,
I still
my
haven't
Steam will
played it,
tell
so
me
it's gonna be fun. That's one of the only good things about not playing these types of big open world RPGs right when they come out, is that you get to play it when they actually have fixed everything. and B, you get to play it when all the DLCs and other content have been
All
added
the
to
others.
Yeah.
You get a completely different experience.
Sorry, Glenn. We had some weak members. It's not the fact that some of your members have turned to the dark side. It's really the entire dogma of the Jedi that's bad.
Yeah.
The whole asceticism. Asceticism is never a good thing.
No.
They did, and I'm
No.
not a spoiler because I don't. Yeah, they rely on the Bethesda magic, Rapunzel.
Yes, exactly. That this game is totally unrealistic. I mean, this show is totally unrealistic. You shouldn't watch another episode. No one just clips through the floor and falls forever. Should never watch it.
Oh my goodness. I really did like how they did the whole idea of how would you transmit an image if you could not actually do that anymore.
There you go.
Like how would
Grid.
you do it like just like bit by bit?
Yeah. The same way we did Morse code, just on a grid.
Oh, how exciting. Like, yeah, that's gonna burn off real fast, buddy.
Oh yeah. That pack is ridiculous. But that pack is a little bit of an homage or like, a fun little Easter egg or reference to how much crap you pick up in the Fallout games. And like you hold hundreds of pounds of crap. Your backpack must be that big. Like it has to be that big.
Yeah, seriously, your infinite pocket of holding.
Yep. Oh, I just have two miniguns in my backpack and a rocket launcher and a giant sledgehammer and extra pieces for power armor.
And it's funny because you do eventually get over encumbered, but the amount you can carry before that happens is insane.
Yeah.
Well, you should have been over encumbered way before the point at which the game actually acknowledges it.
The encumbrance is the one thing that always annoys me in games because I cannot not pick everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The new 7 days has that, and it's pretty it's not a lot that you can carry before that starts happening.
I laughed at the fact that we got the junk cannon.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that when we were talking about the costuming before. A lot of the costuming is probably just random crap left over in like costuming studios because especially for like the raiders and the people that just live out in the Fallout areas, like the general areas, is just crap. It's just like random pieces of clothing and things that are just there.
And what better way to
that's a good way to put it. The wasteland, I think they call it in Fallout.
Yeah. Yep, the wasteland. It was interesting to me to see the bits of it that were set in around DC because it's like, hey, I know where that is. So
that dude looks like
what's his name? The thumb thing was something that was interesting to me because like I was talking about like how because I grew up in DC.
Okay. And
Tom, honestly, you would have had a similar experience, even though you might not have thought about it as much growing up in New York, but you definitely would have had the same thing happen. Growing up in DC, there's no sense worrying about what will happen if a nuke hits. Every part of that area.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Yeah. We used to talk about that all the time. We talked about it all the time. Yeah. No, we said that. I think we knew that when we were in like fourth or fifth grade. We were like, "Oh yeah, we're dead. We're just totally dead."
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah. You will never even know it. You're within the vaporization zone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like I remember that we used to see the Fallout shelters everywhere, though. Like every school's basement was a Fallout shelter.
Where I grew up has silos from World War II where they used to store the intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Wow.
And the alternative high school that they used to send all the bad kids to, it was called Nike, as in the Nike base, as in the Nike missiles, the nuclear intercontinental kinetic ballistic missiles. Yeah. Their school was in the two barrackses that were there was their school. Yeah.
That's intense.
That was one of the things when I was watching Silo, was I was trying to figure out whether the silos were purpose built or whether whether the silo was purpose built.
I love that show, by the way. Silo is such a good show. I'm so excited that season 2 is coming out soon.
Nuclear missile, or nuclear silo. I assume it was purpose built though.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I read the books. I'm 90. I read the first book. I'm pretty sure it was based on the stuff that I read in that. Walter Goggins he's a great actor, but his makeup in this is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love it.
And you know what? They do a very good job of subtly enhancing it with CGI too.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's definitely some enhancement going on, but it's done.
Yeah,
well.
It's mainly the nose. Like his nose has a little orange or a green cap on it so that they can cut it out.
I love what he does here with the chicken. Like really just like messing with their heads, like getting in their heads.
Chickens get fucking fucked up in this show.
Oh, they do.
You'll see in the next episode.
I started to notice that they kept putting chickens in as many scenes as they could, just randomly in the background.
Now I'm waiting for the giant mutated chicken to come and.
That's hilarious.
That's funny, Rapunzel.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, geez, it must take a bunch of hours. Someone had better name that dog meat.
Well, they named what's his name's I don't remember.
Someone was telling me that because I missed it, but like
Ben Linus, the guy from the Institute, they named his dog meat.
Someone was saying Walter, that its name was CX404.
Walton said that the first time they did the makeup, it took 5 hours. But when they broke it down into the different individual prosthetic pieces, it ended up only taking like 45 minutes once they got it down to the science.
It is pretty amazing how fast they can get.
Yeah, dog meat is kind of like Roach from The Witcher. Every dog is dog meat. Like all of the dogs are dog meat. Yeah, where all of
every dog meat is precious and must be protected.
You're absolutely correct.
There's also a really fun bit where like you can see the moments in which people screw themselves over in conversation. Because these guys were probably gonna make it until he threatened him, you know?
Yeah.
The junk cannon.
And he actually has like almost a real working gun.
Also, so you were talking about like how they do violence, right, Crystal? Where like it's usually not super over the top,
less gratuitous,
almost gratuitous.
Yeah.
Except for when it's his violence. I've noticed that whenever he's the one dealing violence, it is over the top.
He's got a great voice that he does with this character. It's not his, because he does have a kind of like a southern drawl like that, but it's way
over the top,
more
like everything else.
Yeah, if you
like
look
they
up
basically just said like everything about his characters are going to be over the top.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. If you look up his character when he's in the makeup, he has a little green cap on his nose for editing purposes.
I love it. We named the chicken. Good. Yeah, episode went by too quick.
It was an hour and 7 minutes.
It didn't feel like that though. I don't know if it was how they broke down the characters, but it didn't feel that way at all.
Here we have Giancarlo Esposito reading the paper before getting nuked.
Yeah. That's just another little drop in there. Such a good show. I really like what they did with this. Like I said, it's probably one of the best video game adaptations next to the Street Fighter from the 90s.
Well, and I think it felt really accessible, like not knowing the lore. I feel like they did a really good job of explaining it
No, they definitely did.
So I could, people who didn't play the game could understand it.
No, yeah, they definitely did. And the little bits and stuff that they put in from the game aren't so much that where it's like where someone like that hasn't seen it, like, the comically large backpack. Like if you see that as a person that's never played the game, you would just be like, aha, that's funny. He's got a giant backpack. Like they're making this guy.
I think if you, yeah.
But but if you've played the game, then you're like, oh yeah, for sure.
One of the things I saw an article said that one of the reasons why this show worked was because it wasn't afraid to be a game. It wasn't afraid of the fact that it was a game. And I said, nothing I saw so far makes me think that it embraced its identity as a game any more than any other game adaptation has. You know what I mean? I think what they did is that they just understood what elements from a game make sense in a show. And
then
you were
they
saying, for
just
instance,
put little lore drops in. Just little lore drops that are like, if you've played the game, you'll get this. Though they do a little bit with like the I forgot what it's called, like the VAPS system or something like that.
Where
it's like
I was wondering if they were going to do anything with that because they haven't in the first 4 episodes so far. But I was like saying to myself, I do hope that they do something just as a nod to it.
Yeah, and they had the special thing in there, as she was kind of looking at her stats on the thing, which is literally just right out of the game, like that Pip-Boy display, literally right out of the game.
Yeah, and that's how you do it. You know what I mean? Like you don't try to replicate what's in the game. You take what is in the game and figure out how can we reference this in a way that makes sense if this were real.
VATS. It's the VATS system, by the way, not VAPS.
Yeah,
VATS.
I can't remember what it stands for, but I am curious to see how they will nod
VATS,
at that because VATS
Vault.
Is fun.
I think it's Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System.
That's exactly what it is.
Again, Vault-Tec making another thing that isn't a Vault.
Vault-Tec.
Could I jump right into 4? Like, do I need to?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, there's no story carryover from really any of the games. Like, it's the same as like watching the show. Like, if you've played the other games, like you'll walk by a picture and it'll be like, oh, that's the map from Fallout 3, or stuff like that. But there's no. It's a completely isolated story. Yeah.
I know in 3 there were characters and things that where it was like it's like with Easter, like what you said with Easter eggs, you know what I mean? It's like there's a deeper appreciation of it if you have played other stuff, So like for instance, there's a tree character in number 3 who is a callback to a story from I think number 1 or number 2 or something like that. So it's like if you know that, then you're like, oh my god, it's what's his face from whatever. But number 3 still is the only Fallout game I played. And I was fully able to appreciate the story they told with Tree Guy in number 3.
It's the best.
New.
Hey, Beth. More shoddy. Hello, friends.
So yeah, it's like that's how
we got rated. Did we get rated?
I would be really surprised, honestly, if you had to play any of the other ones too. I sure hope not, because I like I said, I've only ever played 3. I haven't even played New Vegas yet, which I hear is the best one.
Well, some people think it's the best one. I think 4 is the best one, but I really think that's left up to everyone's interpretation.
I'll say the trailer for number 4 genuinely brought tears to my eyes. That was a very well made trailer.
For everyone that's here right now, by the way, that didn't come with Beth Doman's raid, please go and check out Beth Doman over on Twitch. She is my sister from another mister. I mean, what's that sound? Does anyone else hear that music? I don't know where that's coming from.
In your head, Tom. I don't hear it.
I was about to say, as sensitive as my hearing is, if it's something going out over the whole thing, I would hear it, and I don't hear anything.
I'm like, all I have open is IMDb and fucking the thing. All right, anyway. So if you don't follow her on Twitch, go make sure to follow her on Twitch. She is always gaming over there. She's like a freaking Overwatch queen. But yeah. Oh shit, yeah. See, this is why I forget about things. I forget about things. I told Beth I was going to call her, and then I completely forgot. But thank you for coming to hang out. We just finished the Fallout episode 1. And for everyone new that's here, I want to end everyone that joined during the stream. I want to remind everybody there is a fantastic Kickstarter that's going on right now for the Wheel of Time audiobooks, but it's a audio accompaniment, kind of like ambient music, original scores, stuff like that. For if you listen to the audiobook, you kind of listen to them at the same time. This person has done the Lord of the Rings one already. And speaking of, if you go and back that Kickstarter anytime between now and when the Kickstarter ends, and if the Kickstarter funds, you'll have a chance to also win this stack of Brandon Sanderson books, which is books 1 through 4 of the Stormlight Archive, all hardcover. I'm also going to be giving out a bunch of these A Memory of Light backpacks, which are, they have like a laptop little pouch in it, and they have a bunch of little pockets on the inside, on the outside. And Jordan, who is the creator of the Wheel of Time soundscapes, also threw in, if you back between then and now on the Monday, next Monday's stream, I'm going to draw winners. You'll either win the books, the full Lord of the Rings soundscapes for the Robert Inglis audiobooks and the Andy Serkis audiobooks, and possibly some backpacks. I'll be giving away multiple backpacks. So even if you just go back that Kickstarter for $1 or up, if you've already backed it, up your bid by $1 or however much you want to back it, and it fully funds, you'll have a chance to win those giveaways. So make sure to go do that. Even if you just want to back an awesome, project and support a really cool creator.
You need the audio stinger. I buy that for $1.
Ha! Speaking of really cool creators, ReverseBLT, let me give you some love too. It's our guest that's here this week. Now, usually at the end of our streams, we do a little inside the Dragonmount Studios interview questionnaire, where we ask the same set of 10 questions to our current guest. But we've already done that, ReverseBLT. Though, Reverse, we added a new question recently.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
so you do have to answer that. It's going to be the first question that we ask everybody from now on. No. Well, we're adding it specifically. This is a new question that we're adding for Fallout. We haven't done this one yet, so you get to be the first person to answer that one.
Hey, another tradition is born.
Yeah, and this has kind of become a tradition for us. We started when we got the chance to interview Rafe Judkins, who's the showrunner for the Wheel of Time. He's also the upcoming showrunner for the God of War adaptation that Amazon Prime is going to be doing. Also a lead writer for Wheel of Time.
I can already see the hate now, though.
I know. I don't care. The hey, listen, if it's as good as this Fallout video game adadaptation, I'll be incredibly enthusiastic about.
I'll be curious to see which part he starts at, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So the very first question we asked him, which is the question I'm going to ask you right now, is, what is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, that's a hard one.
You got to just settle on one.
Well,
that's how.
First, I have to remember my dinosaurs. It's been a while.
That's fair.
But,
do you mean name some for you? I've become proficient. It's my son's favorite thing.
Well, also, if you want to check out the Rafe Judkins interview, it's over on the Dragon Mount YouTube. If you, I'm pretty sure it's on our front page. If you go check it out there.
That's how we started the Guy Roberts interview too, that we did with.
You should have seen her last week when she was in her Lydia Dietz getup from when we were watching Beetlejuice.
That was really fun.
I missed it because I was like busy with something. Like, yeah, I got to rewatch it though because it is still up. I'm pretty sure.
So, what's your favorite dinosaur?
There was one that I'm trying to remember the name of. It was like this. Like when I was a kid, I had this big board.
What did it look like?
Hold on.
It was like from Scientific American or something, where it was like a rubberized
Maybe it's in
kind of
here.
mat thing. Maybe it has stickers.
Does
it have stickers?
Is it
She had stickers that you could stick like a bunch of
Her Death Claws
carnivore
dinosaurs.
or an herbivore?
I'm pretty sure it was a carnivore. It was like a gigantic version, kind of like a T-Rex, but like scarier looking.
The
I also
bar
really
is
like
what
you're talking about.
triceratopses though. But
So there's one called the Tarbosaurus, which looks like a
that's
T-Rex, but they
definitely
have longer arms, and that's not him. Okay.
The
Orvoraptor.
I know it wasn't one of the raptors because I didn't even really know about.
if you said
raptors
it's bigger
yet.
than the T-Rex, then it's not a raptor, because the raptors are
Yeah,
actually
the raptors
really
are like
tiny.
this big. Yeah,
Well,
they're
the
like
one,
little tiny things. There is like a
Carnotaurus
type of
is
dinosaur
like-
that is like a, I think. Go ahead.
The Carnotaurus. So it looks like a
That might
giant
be it.
T-Rex,
Can I
but he
see
has
it?
spikes. Yeah. Let's see if I can. He's got spikes on his head that run down his tail. and he's
Yeah,
got
yeah, that
longer
was the
arms
guy. I
than
remember because I remember he
T-Rex.
had the horns. He had
Yeah.
the horns.
Okay,
Yeah,
on
it's
his
like
sword.
a
Yeah.
devilish
So what?
T-Rex.
So go ahead and say his name once for when we do the clips.
Carnotaurus?
Carnosaurus. Yeah, there you go. There
Or
you
it's
go.
Carnosaurus? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I had a trifecta. I think I had because I liked that one and I liked the Triceratops a lot, and I liked the Brachiosaur because I thought it would be fun to ride it.
Okay.
but yeah. So if we're gonna go though with like at least the dinosaur I remember really liking as a kid though it was Carnotaurus, whatever it is.
Fair enough.
And I wonder what it would really look like because back then, of course, that was before we realized that they all probably had feathers. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Yeah.
it'd be really
The
funny.
another fun thing that you'll see on the Dragonmount socials and YouTubes and places that we post things soon is at WatCon, I got to interview Guy Roberts, and he answered that question along with our other Inside the Dragonmount Studios questions. So we'll have that up on our page soonly.
Yeah, he's
By
somebody
soonly, I mean when people can edit it and post it, because I don't know how to do those things.
I know how to do those things, even though I'm extremely slow at it.
Oh, I'm so bad. I'm so bad at it.
Hi, all the people who popped in while I had the
Penny.
screen.
Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. This is Penny. It's the What Cake Lady. Hey, I've eaten her cake and it's fantastic.
It's delicious.
So I have a
my god, that
question,
was that. She did. So she made a cake which was entered into the charity auction to raise money for the Mayo Clinic at JordanCon. And Dragonmount won it, and we ate it, and it was absolutely fantastic.
It was awesome.
Yum.
So before we end up heading out of here, Reverse, what are you currently doing, and what can people catch you doing next for on your stuff? Plus, I'm posting links to that, by the way.
So what I'm doing now is I'm actually changing things up a little bit. Partly to make sure that I actually get some stuff out. So I am doing my reactions as live reactions first now.
Okay.
So the second of those live reactions going forward will actually be episodes 5 through 8 of Fallout, because I did episodes 1 through 4 yesterday.
Awesome.
Are
And
you doing it on Sunday again?
we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing these live reactions every Sunday. They should be typically at about 2:00 Eastern. Maybe earlier if something is happening later in the day, but I will post them to my channel a week in advance so that people will know when they're there. The live stream for that is already posted, even though obviously it won't go live until then. So yeah, like people definitely like swing by, hang out, and watch me to get ahead in life. Haha, you'll understand that later. But yeah, I really did dig what they did with that poster. By the way, that was some excellent foreshadowing. I wanted to ask a question though before we leave, because I guess Tom, you can answer this because you've already seen the whole season. Crystal, you haven't, right?
Correct. I've started 5 before we did this.
So here's my question for you. Do you think Maximus did it?
No.
Okay.
I keep going back and forth on it.
I don't think so.
Like, I think my two main
no spoilers, please, in chat.
Mm-hmm.
No spoilers. But my two main suspects, honestly, even though I keep Maximus in my head because obviously he's the most obvious choice. Is that
that's
just
what? Yeah.
what we see at face value, right? But I think either the white kid whose name I'm blinking on right now, who kind of was like his main rival, it seemed.
Oh, the redhead?
Yes. Or it was Maximus's buddy who got injured, who actually
Zilia.
injured themselves.
Rena the Sul'dam
Yeah.
from Wheel of Time.
Right.
Interesting.
Because it would be a way to get out of it permanently.
I hadn't thought about that.
Well, we're gonna have to come watch when you find out on Sunday.
Well, it didn't occur to me until the rewatch, because I was paying a lot of attention to their face during the they said they asked me if you did it scene, and I was like, it's weird how they're not even the tiniest bit put out about this.
Yeah, that's
almost
fair.
like this is the outcome they wanted.
Yeah, well, they seem to be a lot more kind of smart about what is really going to happen to them when they leave that area. Like they probably know that they're not going to survive. So this is their chance to maybe become a knight, but also, yes, Penny, we did, but real quick, Penny, before we have the Brandon books, which are the Stormlight books 1 through 4, all hardcover. Sorry, those are heavy, and I don't want to drop them and then have to replace them. Then we have the Wheel of Time backpack. We're going to be giving away probably a few of these throughout the Memory of Light tour backpack. And Jordan Reynolds, the person who is running the Kickstarter, donated the entire one set of the entirety of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So it's the audio adaptation for both the Robert Inglis audiobooks and the Andy Serkis audiobooks. So yeah, he also has step-by-steps on how to line them up and things like that. It's very simple. And
it's about $5,000 away right now. So that's
So let's go. Let's get it done. Yep. So everyone, if you could, share it around, send it to your friends, anyone that you think would get a kick out of the Wheel of Time soundscapes, the Lord of the Rings soundscapes, maybe these Stormlight books or anything. Even if you just back it, for $1 because you want to support a cool project by a cool person, make sure to do that. And also, speaking of cool people, ReverseBLT, make sure go to support him, give him a follow, a like, a share, hit the alert bell on his YouTube video, all those things. And obviously, if you enjoy watching my shenanigans and Crystal trying to keep me on track, follow our stuff.
Typically fail.
We didn't tangent too badly today.
You guys, it's early. I'm like, why are we leaving? It's only 10:15.
I know. It's not 1 o'clock in the morning, like when we're usually here. It's because we jumped right into the episode when Reverse came in, because I was like, oh shit, we went like 28 minutes with Jordan in the beginning. So like I wanted to get right to the show. But yeah, so the last thing before we go is next week's guest will be the Black Tower podcast. Andrew and Josh, our friends.
Nice.
And we're going to be watching episode 2, The Target, with them.
And that picture, by the way, is yet another great moment of foreshadowing.
Oh yeah. And we also, and it's at that scene where we get to see some more stuff with either the love-hate relationship that the showrunners for this have with chickens. You'll see tomorrow. Right? I mean, you'll see next week. All right.
Maybe
I love all of you.
Reference too.
Oh, Iris Bear. Hey, sorry, we're just hopping out, but we love you, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, everybody.
Say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.